PB, thank you. Welcome to Aggieland. There will be 100,000 plus at Kyle Field tonight as they look for their Aggies to remain undefeated on this SEC Saturday night.
Welcome to SEC Saturday night.
There's a party going on around town. It's one rowdy cowboy throwdown. Miles around, the best of the best come here to put their tough to the test. Give it all for gold or go home broke. When they open up that gate, welcome to the show, welcome to the home of the world's biggest rodeo, where the stars light up the night underneath that Texas sky. Welcome to the show, are you ready for a ride? Yeah, you better buckle up and hold on tight, where the Bayou City streets meet the country roads. Welcome to the show.
Tonight from Kyle Field, it is a blackout. The Aggies in their black jerseys for just the fourth time ever. Welcome to SEC Saturday Night, presented by T-Mobile 5G Home Internet. We have seen college football chaos today, and these Aggies in the 12th man hoping their squad can stay above the fray. 4-0, ranked 6th in the country. And in a maroon battle, the Bulldogs from State show up today. Here is Mike Elko and his Texas A&M Fighting Aggies. What a scene in Aggieland. Texas A&M trying to stay undefeated. They think they're a national champion contender. Let's get you down the field where the head Aggie, Mike Elko, is trying to keep this team undefeated and ready to rock. And this scene is second to none. And so this Texas A&M team's trying to stay undefeated and remain a national championship contender. Welcome everybody. Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers, Cole Kubelik down on the field. We'll get there in just a minute. This A&M team so far, Jordan, has done it with their offense in a win at Notre Dame. Did it with their defense last week against Auburn. So the question remains, I know it's early, can they win a national title?
I think they absolutely can because of what you said. They've proven they can win football games in multiple ways. An elite offensive performance on the road at Notre Dame, a defensive performance last week against Auburn that won them the football game. Now, consistency has been the issue. Can they get elite performances week in and week out on both sides of the ball? That'll be the deciding factor, but they have the talent to do it.
Well, they have a very talented quarterback in Marcel Reed. He is cool, calm, collected. Not much rattles this guy. Is he a quarterback now? They've had great ones here that can take him to the promised land.
He's on his way, absolutely. I think what I love about watching Marcel Reed is last year he was a run first, pass second type quarterback. This year he's developing into a pocket passer. He's looking more comfortable. The footwork has come along. The accuracy has improved. Still a lot of room for improvement, but he has the talent, and you're starting to see the development under offensive coordinator Colin Klein. He's absolutely capable of taking them to where this team wants to go.
Well, on the other side for Mississippi State, Jeff Lebby and the Bulldogs are off to a fantastic start. Lost in overtime to Tennessee last week. But considering where they came from, last year they didn't win a conference game, and they're still looking to snap that conference losing streak. What a turnaround for this program.
Jeff Lebby does not get enough credit for how quickly he has turned around this program from 2-10 last year to where they sit today. Just an overtime loss against Tennessee. That shouldn't really be a big blemish on their record. They are so much better than they were last year, especially on the ground game. They have two dynamic running backs, Devon Booth and Fluff Bothwell, the transfer, have changed this offense, and they've built it around their quarterback, Blake Shapen, the former transfer from Baylor, who only played in 4 games before a season-ending injury last year. The talent that Jeff Lebby has accumulated around his quarterback has really helped change the complexion of this program.
Let's bring in the third member of our crew, Cole Kublik. Cole, what do you see when you watch the Mississippi State tape?
It's a team that's as aggressive as any team in this league. I think if we could measure the output of the energy that they exert in every game, they might be #1 in the conference. Now, sometimes that defense runs the wrong way. Sometimes that offense doesn't necessarily make the correct read, but the effort has been there. The energy has been there, and I think that's something that Jeff Lebby just brings to this football team. So I'm talking to him before the game. He said, I just lean on my guys. I love on my guys. I want them to know that they can play for me, and if they make a mistake, it's all good. I'm still going to be here for them. I think that shows up with this football team this season. One of the reasons they're winning games.
A&M won the toss. Aggies have elected to defer, so Mississippi State will put its offense on the field to get us started, and I feel like we're already started. What a scene here in Aggie land. 100,000 plus. And the lone game of the night in the Southeastern Conference. Randy Bond has the ball on a tee. Devon Booth back to receive for State. A&M undefeated 4-0. Mississippi State at 4-1. And we are underway at Kyle Field. No return for Booth and a healthy Blake Shapen. Graduate player from Louisiana. Started Evangel Christian as a 2-sport star. He was the #1 baseball recruit in the state. Comfortable in this offense, which is still fairly new to him.
Yeah, this is exactly what Jeff Lebby envisioned when he was putting this roster together last year. Blake Shapen was his guy. He went and got him. I mentioned the injury that derailed it, but the talent that they've accumulated around Blake Shapen is the difference. Can they operate under the adversity of this crowd tonight? That'll be the question.
And they run it off tackle on the first play. And Fluff Bothwell is able to pick up 13 on first down.
Fluff has been a game changer for this offense. As you see the tempo pick up, the physicality that he brings between the tackles is an improvement on what they had last year.
Shapen swallowed up. Sacked 5 times last week. And now Damian Sanford gets to him on the second play tonight.
Boy, it's just a protection error. You're going to see Cannon Boone, the center, work this way, and you're going to see the blitz right down the A-gap from Damian Sanford. Boone's eyes are to the right. He's got to pick up that blitzing linebacker in the A-gap.
So 2nd and 16. Back to the run game. Nothing doing. And Blake Shapen is a veteran quarterback. He has played in tough stadiums before, but you're looking at a 3rd and long against an elite defense and 100,000 Maroons screaming at you. Or for tonight, clad in black. Shapen pressured again, down again. 2nd sack of the night for Texas A&M. Deion Hayes and Cassius Howell met at the quarterback.
Well, you're going to see a stunt on the left side right here, and it's actually going to be the first guy, Ryland Kennedy, that's going to squeeze through left tackle Javen James and Jacoby Jackson on that side to provide the initial pressure. 3rd longs are going to be a nightmare tonight for Mississippi State. They got to avoid it at all costs.
Punt taken at the 25. KC Concepcion, there's a flag down. 47-yard punt, 9 on the return.
Boy, how about that crowd?
It's insane.
During the kick, holding, receiving team, number 14, 10-yard penalty, first down.
So, to your point, we saw how the crowd impacted Blake Shapen and the Mississippi State offensive line. And now let's see if they can give some lift to Marcel Reed.
No doubt. And this is an offense that's got to get back on track. Based on what we saw last week at Auburn, it was not the performance out of Marcel Reed or the entire unit that you expect after you saw what they did on the road at Notre Dame. But Marcel Reed is developing as a passer within the pocket. We're going to highlight it tonight. I love his footwork. I love the raw talent. I need to see the deep ball accuracy and those shot plays downfield get more consistent, because with the speed they have, with Mario Craver and Casey Concepcion. They can run by anybody. Marcel's just got to get him the ball.
He's completed 60% of his passes on the season. He's got Le'Veon Moss in the backfield with him. He has been a wrecker over the last couple of games. Moss hurdles and a flag down, likely a hold, and then he goes somersaulting up to the 35. It's a gain of 20 if it stands, but already 2 flags against A&M, and that combo fund will look a little heftier after this first possession.
Holding. Offense. Number 55. Out the distance of the goal. Still first down.
Armaj Reed Adams is flagged. This is an A&M team that gets penalized more than anybody else in the country. And Mike Elko joked, we're going to have a combo fund. The coaches are going to take the fine money and get a great vacation.
Yeah, Zachary Tillman does a great job of attacking Reed Adams there and kind of ran him over, and Adams just took him down with him.
It turns into 1st and 17. Reed pulls it back, wants to throw to the perimeter, and a beautiful route by Casey Concepcion. It's a pickup of 13.
And the timing there was really good. Last year, Marcel's feet were kind of all over the place. 2 and 3 hitches on intermediate throws where you just need one. That time, 3 and a hitch. Ball was out on time and accurate to Concepcion on the perimeter.
Gets him to a manageable 2nd and 4. And another penalty flag. He had 12 men on the field.
Now,
Legal substitution. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
Now, does that take money out of the Cabo fund? Because that one's on the coaches, right?
You could say that. I joking with Marcel Reed yesterday. I said, you haven't gotten flagged yet. You could go on vacation. He goes, with the coaches? Last thing I want to do. They're 133rd in the nation out of 136 with 9.5 flags incurred per game. That's already the 3rd tonight. 4-man rush for State. Reed dances out of the pocket. First guy only got a hand on him, and it will leave 3rd in less than a yard.
Well, a really good decision there by Marcel Reed. Mississippi State drops into a really soft cover 2. No one had eyes on him. Step up, puncture the pocket, and make this a much more manageable 3rd down here. This is where Le'Veon Moss.
Coming off a career-high 139 yards on the ground last week against Auburn. And the 1 yard is simple enough. You saw the graphic on their struggles on 3rd down, primarily because they have faced 3rd and 7+ 58% of the time. Penalties play a role in that. Inefficiencies play a role in that.
Yeah, and it's been a slow start to the season for Le'Veon Moss, right? I mean, coming off the injury November 2nd last year, tearing his ACL, didn't have anything in spring, limited in fall camp, had a breakout game last week, but he's going to help those early downs, them get ahead of the sticks. And as you mentioned, clean up those penalties, and that'll fix it quick.
Oh, a little trickeration. Here's Concepcion, finds the edge. And finally forced out after a gain of 16 by Casey Concepcion.
One of those guys that transferred in and has immediately made an impact. The NC State transfer. He's so dynamic with the ball in his hands. A speedster along with Mario Craver.
And incomplete as they tried to get it out to Moss out of the backfield. It leaves 2nd and 10. Moss will come out for a moment. This is a deep A&M backfield. Reuben Owens, redshirt sophomore, replaces him next to Reed. Reed looking middle. And it's incomplete and nearly picked. Right behind Orstrom.
was talking down on the field with Colin Klein, the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach. He said sometimes when Marcel misses high, it's an indecision. Watch him kind of double clutch this ball right here. He's not really confident in what he's seen, so it speeds up his motion. When he misses high, that's kind of been the common thread. Just unsure, maybe a hand up in the lane, whatever it was. It's been a common theme of some of those misses high this year.
And once again, a long third down. Facing 3rd and 10. A lot of communication from that O-line with the play clock at 1. Here comes pressure. Reed hangs a U-turn. Tries to find the perimeter. Throws on the run, and he dirts it. And that'll be the end of the possession for Texas A&M. Nick Mitchell was trying to chase down Marcel Reed.
I love the call there, bringing pressure. Not letting your mobile quarterback have a clean pocket, maybe take off and run on you. Really good call there by defensive coordinator Coleman Hustler for Mississippi State.
Looks like both sides of the line pinched inside on that protection, Jordan. Usually not the way you're going to manage that, and especially you put a back one-on-one on a backer off the edge.
Yeah, I think it was linebacker walked up into that A-gap late and caused that protection adjustment.
Tyler White with a boomer. That was up even with the 3rd deck. Big time hang time. Taken at the 11 after a 43-yard punt. Second opportunity for Blake Shapen at State if he can get some protection. Company struggled through last season. Quarterback was hurt after 4 games, and a longtime SEC assistant just couldn't find their proper footing. So what they do, they turn the roster over. Practically the entire thing. It has worked. 4-1, 39 points a game. They've cut their points allowed per game and a half. Off to their best start in over a decade. Devon Booth is in the backfield with Blake Shapen, who was sacked twice on the opening possession. Quick release to Aiden Williams, and he's out after a gain of a couple by Dalton Brooks.
Yeah, protection's going to be a common theme of concern for Mississippi State, especially at right tackle. Luke Work moved out there after Albert Reese went down in the first half last week. He's primarily a guard in his career, has played out at tackle as well, but going up against this really good defensive front for Texas A&M.
Shapen gets rid of it on time again. This to Brennan Thompson, the former Oklahoma Sooner. And Cole, not only that, but they flopped their guards. It put Zach Owens at left, Jacoby Jackson at right. Jackson had made 15 straight starts at left guard.
It's an odd move, Tom, because you become a creature of habit as an offensive lineman. Vandy, the only offensive line in the country I know that still flips their guards outside of military academies, but a weird move there for the Bulldogs.
See if it can pay off. It did not work on the first possession, and the run game bottled up as Devon Booth, who transferred in from Utah State, gets stopped after a gain of 1. We'll give 2 yards, 2nd and 8 now. Blake Shapen, quarterback to pro-style offense at Baylor, took him to a Big 12 championship, was MVP of the championship game as a Bear. And great coverage, but still complete. Anthony Evans, who transferred in from Georgia. They'll leave 3rd and less than a yard. And State able to pick up the tempo in this no-huddle attack. Shapen hands it off. It's the first down and plenty more. Booth got tripped up on the logo, but he was off to the races. Cole, it seems like a very simple run game right up the A-gap.
Well, I tell you, this is one they get downhill a little bit faster than they have in previous years. These 2 backs make it go as well, Tom, but it's that old running back dive from the Dolphins playbook in Tech Bowl.
22-yard gain. Shapen connects again with Evans, this time on the right side. When this offense is moving, Jordan, what does it look like?
Well, it's the tempo, right? It's the runs inside because you've stretched the defense horizontally with the quick passing game. And then those linebackers have their eyes in the wrong spot, and you get right up in between them. So tempo is definitely this offense's friend.
Jeff Lebby told Jordan and I on the field before the game, he said, if it's available, we're using it.
Fluff Bothwell is now in a running back. He takes a direct snap straight ahead again. The second first down run where they've gone right down the alley. Back-to-back 100-yard games for Bothwell. Another chance for him here. What does that do to A&M defensively when they keep getting hit right in the heart of the defense?
Well, they're tired. I mean, you just feel the tempo, right? These are big, physical defensive linemen. that now have gone 6 or 7 snaps in about 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Again to the A gap, but this one bounces out a little bit, and broken tackles on the run by Bothwell.
I thought it was interesting when we talked to Jeff Levy about that tempo. He said the only problem are the newer offensive linemen. And I immediately reacted, Tom and Jordan. I said, oh, yeah, because they get gassed, they're out of breath. He goes, no. We're not worried about our wind. He said it's just understanding the operation of the offense, where to go, line up, what the count's going to be, what the play call is going to be, because there's not enough time to go through all that.
This is the 10th play of State's second drive. They opened the game last year with a 12-play, 90-plus yard drive, taking the lead against the Aggies. Pressure from the edge. Shapen sidearms it out of there, complete to Booth, and he is able to weave his way down inbounds and just short of the marker to be second in inches. Well, the first possession was a Mississippi State disaster. This one looks more like Monet. Booth only needed to cover Water Lily. He got a few more. It's a first down, 1st and goal.
This is traditionally where this Jeff Levy type offense that originated with Baylor back in 2012, 2013 struggled in the red zone. But it's the physicality of Devon Booth and Fluff Bothwell this year that have allowed them to excel between the tackles at running the ball inside the 10-yard line.
Booth, all-conference performer last year. Here he is, changes direction again, and jumps forward to set up 2nd and goal from the 2.
And it's plays like that. The blocking wasn't perfect. There was really nowhere to go on the initial track, but stays square to the line of scrimmage, cuts back, and gets north and south for a 2nd goal here from the 2.
13th play of the drive. Bothwell in as the back. Direct snap to him. Barrels his way towards the goal line, but short. Asked Mike Elko about the opening drive for Mississippi State in the matchup last year. He said, I thought we had it well defended. We just missed some tackles. Not many missed tackles here. They're just running right past them. And now Kamario Taylor, Swiss Army knife at quarterback enters to give him another dimension on 3rd and goal.
False start.
New quarterback.
Offense, number 51. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Yeah, I was just about to say my only concern, you get a young quarterback in there, the noise is deafening. A different cadence, a different snap. Oh, and you see left tackle Javen James just flinched a little bit. Probably saw the motion out of the corner of his eyes.
So Taylor back to the sideline, Shapen, and the shotgun, 3rd and goal. They'll roll the pocket away from trouble. There's a lot of it into the end zone and incomplete. But he had an entire convoy trying to chase him down. And after a 14-play drive, they'll bring on the kicking team, the veteran Ferry, to try and get Mississippi State on the board.
Boy, what a costly penalty. You just knew Jeff Levy, if he was down at the 1 or 2 yard line, was going to go for it on a 4th down, but it's the right decision here.
24-yard attempt, the lefty from the right hash. Had it all the way. 15 plays, 83 yards, and 5:43 off the clock. Mississippi State off to an early lead.
Saturday night is presented by T-Mobile 5G Home Internet and in part by IHG Hotels and Resorts.
Incredible scene here at Kyle Field. Even the Yell leaders changed their outfits for the blackout tonight. First time they're head to toe in white. Those won't show the grass stains as well.
Or the sweaty pits, probably.
Maybe not. It is slimming.
This scene is absolutely bananas right now.
State did not handle it well on its first possession. Fantastic on the second. Kyle Ferry has Mississippi State on the board and kicks it away. Get a closer look at what Marcel Reed brings to the table.
Yeah, I've said it already. He's really improved his ability to play on time and in rhythm. Watch this play from 2024. This is an intermediate throw. He's going to hitch 2 times, so he's late and behind with the throw. You saw that a lot this year. Similar concept, 1, 2, 3. Foot in the ground, rips it right away under pressure. No unneeded movements, no hitches, no resets. And here another intermediate route, 1, 2, 3, hitch up, on time, in rhythm, delivers a strike in a tight window. His accuracy from 10 to 20 has skyrocketed from last year to this year. Has to do with his processing is better, his understanding is better, but really his footwork and timing have been so much improved.
And they added a couple of deep ball weapons on the perimeter. Concepcion was guarded that time. He had nowhere to go. Teron Manning was blanketed all over number 7, and so it goes incomplete.
Concepcion and Craver, I think the most dynamic duo of wide receivers in the country right now, from a standpoint of creating separation, of speed, of playmaking ability when the ball's in their hands.
Craver second in the country, 119 receiving yards per game. In a monster game at Notre Dame. On the ground, it's Ruben Owens.
And Craver was Mississippi State last year.
That's got to drive coaches crazy, right? It's not just that you left, but now I got a coach against you and you're elite.
Mississippi State lost Mario Craver and Kevin Coleman, who's at Missouri, balling out as well. Yeah. But they reloaded. They got 3 really good guys in the transfer portal as well. So they're not hurting, but pretty amazing how talented pieces move in this day and age of college football.
Marcel Reed off to a slow start, just 1 for 5 for 12 yards. And another long 3rd down. And he's going to uncork it deep. And too much air underneath that one, trying to find Mario Craver, who has elite speed. Rylan Lanier had the coverage.
Well, the protection was really good. Mississippi State stacked the line of scrimmage. The offensive line sorted it out. Actually, I think really good air on the ball here. It was just Craver got a little caught up, some contact downfield with Brian Lanier. Wasn't able to get his head up and track that one. Another miss, though, on a deep throw for Marcel Reed. At some point, you got to underthrow it, right? How many times have we seen this year those underthrown balls on the deep shots, allowing receivers to make a play on it?
Fair catch taken by Anthony Evans. 50-yard punt from Tyler White. Lake Chapin at State going back to work.
I met you outside. I'm Braxton Shear.
Hi, Peter, thanks. Arch, meanwhile, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. And the second loss of the season for the Longhorns. Blake Chapin pulls it back, gets pressured again. And now on the move. And shoved out of bounds. No flag in that push by Marco Jones. Let's meet the impact players.
Yeah, running backs for Mississippi State going to play a big role in this game. Bothwell and Booth. You've seen the protection issues. They got to be able to run the ball out of that because Cassius Howell on the other side, one of the best defensive ends in the country. And a corner, Des Ricks, who's playing as good as anybody in the SEC right now.
Ricks was originally an Alabama signee. The ball comes loose, and Chapin able to fall on it. Damian Sanford is seeing more time due to the injury to starter Scooby Williams, and he's already made an impact on this play.
The ruling on the field was the runner was down prior to losing possession.
Pardon the impact on this game. They ruled that he was down, no fumble. But still, the penetration has been there for A&M.
Now you get another 3rd and long. Cassius Howell right there at the top of the screen. Working on right tackle replacement Luke Work.
It was not light work.
Chapin handed it off. Bothwell. Back out to the original line of scrimmage or close to it, and now State will punt it away with Ethan Pulliam. Pulliam is a left-footed punter. The arc on his punts, the shape of them are such that punt returners have had a hard time. In fact, Tennessee's punt return man dropped one at an inopportune time last week. Concepcion stands inside the far hash. Calls for everybody to get away. That one takes a State hop and trickles down to the 21. That was a 61-yard punt. The former Mississippi State shortstop. So Marcel Reed, Jordan, slow start, 1 for 6, just 12 yards.
Yeah, I think they need to get the ball out of his hands a little quicker. Get him into rhythm. Get your playmakers in space. You can see there, last couple games since that first 2 drives versus Auburn, really haven't been able to get things going.
You saw that one end around work for A&M. Wouldn't be surprised to see more misdirection. With the defense is aggressive that pursues as well as this one does, have to try to keep them straight up.
Coleman Hutzler is a defensive coordinator for Mississippi State.
There you go. Right, quick, easy throw. Getting Mario Craver, one of my impact players, the ball in space. Good things usually happen. Le'Veon Moss, the bruising running back, coming off a career game last week, 139 yards. And on the other side, Tony Mitchell filling in for Isaac Smith, who's injured. And the defensive end transfer, Malik Silla, a guy that needs to find a way to affect this game.
Smith is a huge loss. Versatility on the defensive side for State. We played both safety and linebacker last year. Led the SEC with 127 tackles.
And Tony Mitchell, though, a guy that has some familiarity with defensive coordinator Coleman Hutzler from their time at Alabama. He's a good player. But Isaac Smith, definitely the versatility they're going to miss on that side of the ball.
Mitchell is a 5-star recruit. Reed has all day deep out route everybody there. 2 black shirts, 2 white shirts. Craver and Concepcion in the same spot and brought their defenders with them.
This is a ball that Marcel Reed's just got to check down. He had 2 guys almost in the same spot, safeties and corners in coverage there. First down. Just because you call a shot doesn't mean you have to take a shot. Check that down, get into a second and medium. It can open up the playbook. It's part of that development of a young quarterback, understanding when to take those chances and when not to.
So on the ground, and Ruben Owens. Marcel Reed has gotten off to a really good start this season. Second only to Johnny Football in the quickness to 3,000 passing yards and 4,000 total yards, and a big part of that was his performance against Notre Dame. He threw for 360 and 2 touchdowns, including the game-winning drive where they converted a 4th and goal from the 11. That'll be the end of the opening quarter. The A&M offense has yet to show up tonight. Reed just 2 for 8. Meanwhile, Mississippi State has handled the chaos in this crowd of 100,000 plus. Bulldogs up 3-0. Watching SEC Saturday Night, presented by T-Mobile 5G Home Internet. The beautiful Brazos Valley. We are at Kyle Field in Bryan College Station with 100 and probably 3, maybe 5,000 of our closest friends, mostly clad in black. And as the sun sets, A&M hoping its offense will come out of the dark. Alec Klein is the second-year offensive coordinator. Former Heisman finalist as a running quarterback at Kansas State. Reed pressured out of the pocket and scampers out of bounds. Took a hit, a yard onto the ribbon, and that will bring a flag. Tyler Lockhart couldn't pull up in time.
Yeah, Lockhart, the true freshman.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 11, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Lockhart, originally jumped into the passing lane right where Marcel Reed wanted to throw on a slant route, and here just getting a little over anxious there, a little bit of shove out of bounds.
They'll rotate a handful of linebackers in with the departure of Smith due to injury. More time for Zachary Tillman, Tony Mitchell, and Tyler Lockhart. Past midfield thanks to the penalty. Aggies will take the gift in a shifty run by Reuben Owens, who averaged 17 yards a carry last week in limited carries against Auburn.
Yeah, and A&M right now just got to lean into the run game. I was talking to defensive coordinator for Mississippi State, Coleman Hutzler, on the field. He's like, I'm actually surprised more teams haven't gotten double tight ends and ran at us. We put some bad tape out there against Arizona State. They had some success in that. Thought he might see it against Tennessee. They didn't. A&M right now with 2 tight ends out there. I think they can lean on the run game against this front.
They go to the right side. It's Owens again, and that entire pile moves to pick up a first down.
Jordan, you mentioned those 2 tight ends, so 12 personnel for A&M. Coleman Hutzler, the defensive coordinator for Mississippi State, said probably going to go 8 and 44 at the defensive end spots, go to more of a bear look, so that'd be Siler and Jennings. Cover up those 3 interior offensive linemen, try to get a little bit more stout in the middle.
Orstrom is the extra tight end in the game now. And Reed on a crossing route, able to connect with Terry Bussey. And he keeps his footing enough to pick up the first down on a gain of 13. Product out of Tiny Timpson, Texas.
Yeah, another one of those guys that's just a dynamic athlete. Has played some running back in his time. At receiver, he's a great catch and run type of guy. Thick for a slot receiver, physical. Again, the recipe for this offense, run the football and throw it quickly to your guys in space. I mean, they have too many athletes that are just so good with the ball in their hands. Just get it to them. Make it easy on your quarterback.
Thirteen personnel now. Off to the left goes Owens. Huge hole. Lockhart in on the stop, and they're knocking on the door to another first down. 2nd and 2 coming up. This will be the 10th play of the drive for A&M. Nice production from Owens.
And the 2 tight ends really creating an issue for this defensive front for Mississippi State. They want to be a 3-down front. They got to get into a 4-down, or like Cole said, a bear front. Kind of get out of their identity when you get this big surface that you got to fill gaps in.
Off to the right goes Le'Veon Moss. And a first down. Cole, what have you seen on tape from the A&M offensive line?
They're a group that can move you. They have the ability to push people against their will. It's like Jordan said earlier, they haven't been given that opportunity on a very consistent basis. Late in the game against Auburn, I thought they had what I call the speed zone versus the inside zone, just kind of back and forth, countering those off each other. It was a great job of play calling, but you see a lot of double teams this year where A&M offensive linemen have guys 3-4 yards down the field.
Concepcion in motion, takes it around the edge. Ron Manning forces him out.
And this is where A&M has really excelled, down here in the red zone. First in the FBS, 10 touchdowns on 12 trips. Getting these 2 tight end sets and just get the physical run game going downhill.
And finally, putting a drive together. 12th play of the drive. Off the left side is Moss. The first drive was undone with 3 penalties, a 3-and-out in their second possession, and taking advantage of a state penalty to get this drive going. They've scored on every red zone touch this season. This drive started with that late hit. What started with 1 penalty that extended with the late hit and would have left him with a 4th and 3. Now 3rd down 2. Give the first man. That's Borkature had the game winner against Notre Dame. The tight end as the fullback.
Oh, a little fullback belly. Cole, is that making a comeback? I feel like I've been seeing it the last couple weeks.
I think I've seen 5 teams in the SEC run it this year. Now, you don't want to run into your guard pulling towards you when you run it. That goes against the way that it's supposed to happen. But yes, I think we're seeing a little bit of a resurgence, even if it's not your traditional Tom Rathman type fullbacks, tight ends, other bigger backs being lined up there and getting that quick belly play.
And now the 14th play of this drive for A&M.
Should have dropped Jaworski Lane right there, former A&M big back.
Yeah, that's a good one. Straight up the gut. And Moss stops shy of the goal line. That will leave 2nd and goal inside the 1. Do you run it back here?
Yep. Right now, I would love to go tempo there and just run it back, but Colin Klein going to get these guys in the huddle. Literally at the half-yard line here.
There's Colin in the middle with the visor. Being mentioned for head coaching jobs around college football, specifically Oklahoma State. Direct snap, and they got him bottled up. Moss unable to advance. Maybe got to pass the line of scrimmage. 3rd and goal coming up.
I'll tell you guys, I hate gap scheme run right there. I hate it.
You know what I don't like, Cole, too, is you got your running back catching a snap, and he kind of takes his eyes away from the front here and just hesitates for a second, right? I mean, I'd rather just have your quarterback get it, hand it to him so his eyes are right on his read key and he can get going downhill.
You know what I hate even more, Jordan? Gap scheme where 2 guards pull into each other.
Yeah, that's not ideal.
Oh, there you go, Moss. Limping off the field there.
So Ruben Owens replaces him in the backfield. 3 tight ends on the left side. Here's Owens with a burst and a lean over the goal line. Touchdown, Texas A&M. Rump is down. Where's the ball? Not quite over the goal line, so it would seem. Got his back turned towards the goal line.
Yeah, they're going to be taking a look at this upstairs. It's a great shot down the line. Butts down.
Ruling on the field of a touchdown is under video review.
Frustrating couple plays for A&M after a drive where it was like a hot knife through butter on the ground. Couple mental mistakes up front, the offensive line, and a really good stand by this Mississippi State defense.
Those mental mistakes odd too, Jordan, because as you pointed out, they're huddling up there. There's time to think about it, time to process it, time to talk about it. When you're going tempo, going fast, you understand if somebody comes up and there's a bust one way or the other.
And if this is overturned, as it certainly seems like it would be, that will leave them with 4th and goal inside the 1. Both teams have attempted to get creative on the goal line. State with the freshman quarterback, and then A&M running the Wildcat.
After video review, the runner was down a half a yard short of the goal line. It'll be 4th down.
Kyle Olson is our referee.
And the play before that was, like Cole mentioned, you got 2 guards pulling into each other. That's why that direct snap had nowhere to go. So
they're going to leave the offense on the field here.
yeah, an area where A&M has been really strong down here. Have not left the red zone without scoring yet this year, and rolling the dice here on 4th and about a foot.
They're 3 for 5 on 4th down this season. Marcel Reed will operate out of the pistol. He's got Ruben Owens behind him.
Watch tight end coming in motion here.
That's Orstrom. And they go straight ahead, and State held them. Owens had nowhere to go. All of that misdirection, and State didn't fall for it. A 4th down goal line stop, and the Aggies Aggies fail in the red zone for the first time this season. What a stand by Coleman Hutzler's defense. And State thinking upset in the second quarter at A&M with a huge stop. Momentous stop for Mississippi State's defense. Cole, what happened up front?
Penetration always causes disruption in short yards. Watch your center. Nose guard going to get a little push there, and then working on the right tackle. Extra penetration comes through about a yard in the backfield. Not going to be able to find ways to cut back and get extra lanes with that penetration. Jordan, those weren't the only issues.
Yeah, this is the read guy on the end line of scrimmage. He comes down. You got a tight end. You got 2-on-1 because they blow a coverage on the back end. If Marcel Reed pulls this because the Reed guy goes down, he might have a touchdown in the corner of the end zone.
Long field for State's offense, and 100,000 in black letting them hear it. Bothwell, the running back. Maybe a yard. Cole, this building is loud. What's it sound like at field level?
It's as loud as any venue I've heard. And I played at Tennessee the year after they won a national championship. Obviously, got my tail kicked in the swamp a few times with teams that won SEC championships. This is as loud as an environment as I've been in.
Second down 9 for Shapen. Only 4 games played last year with a shoulder injury. The veteran hands it off, and there is no daylight thanks to Tyler Onyeta.
And here's where we're going to see how much Jeff Lebby trusts this offensive line. It's been a work in progress. 4 starting lineups for the first 5 games. Obviously a new right tackle in Luke Work, and one of the best pass rushers in the SEC in Cassius Howell.
Howell had 3 sacks against Utah State, but only 1 since. They bring the house. Shapen lets it fly. Incomplete. Great effort. Anthony Evans on a dead sprint, but Marcus Ratliff was in on the coverage.
Boy, protection was really good. They picked up the blitz. Bothwell and Traore. And I love the ball from Shapen. He put a ton of air on this, had to get rid of it early. Gave Anthony Evans an opportunity. A little bit of contact from Marcus Ratliff.
See if they come after Ethan Pulliam. They play for the return. Pulliam gets away a boomer. Concepcion at the 42. And he's found daylight. KC Concepcion with an immaculate return. Flag down back at the 36-yard line. 53-yard punt, 43 on the return.
During the return, holding, return team, number 8, 10-yard penalty, first down, Texas A&M.
Jordan Shaw, defensive back, flagged for holding. It's his second big return that's been flagged and erased by Texas A&M, including a 99-yard kickoff return at Notre Dame. Mike Elko not happy. Plenty of mistakes for Texas A&M early on. This one cost them big time.
All right, so I'll let you guys in. So I've tried all kinds of things. So today what we started was the Texas A&M football coaches Cabo Fund. And so what's going to happen now is every time one of our players gets a penalty, they're going to contribute to the coaches Cabo Fund. And so we'll see if that works.
Well, no laughing matter on a couple of huge penalties. This is the flag that they threw. Didn't look like much in live action, but it erases a monster return. 125th in the country in penalty yards per game. Already 32 tonight, including 3 on A&M's opening possession. Reuben Owens off the left side. Le'Veon Moss left the previous A&M drive. Last time we saw him, he was on an exercise bike on the sideline trying to get loose. Moss coming off of major knee reconstruction in the offseason. He was dinged up a little bit in camp. Mike Elko making it clear to us that the camp injury had nothing to do with the knee. But it's Reuben Owens' game for the moment at tailback for Texas A&M. On 2nd and 6, Marcel Reed double clutches, throws it high, and it's picked off. Callie Jones with the takeaway. Just as you diagrammed earlier, Jordan, the double clutch, the decision making leads to the ball sailing.
Boy, and this is just all seams, all go special. He's looking at the tight end up the left hash. You're going to see tight end up the left hash, and this linebacker getting depth is where Marcel's eyes are going to be. When the linebacker gets that much depth, just check the ball down. Find your running back. Linebackers, as soon as they're getting 10, 12 yards deep, great. They're now 8 yards away from your running back. That's a check down. So that hesitation should already tell him in his mind, I got to move on. It's not there. Find the check down. Again, it's those hesitations, the double clutching. That's been the Achilles heel so far for Marcel Reed this game and this season.
They're letting the underdog Bulldogs stick around. Booth off the left side. Mississippi State is attempting to snap a 12-game SEC losing streak, which is the 3rd longest in school history. They haven't beaten a conference team since a win against Arkansas in 23. Big takeaway for Jones. Back to the run, a yard for Booth.
Third down here where Mike Elko and this defense get really creative in how they set your protection. You're going to see 3 guys to the left side of this offensive line. They're trying to force you to slide left and leave this side one-on-one.
That's TJ Searcy. 4-man rush. Searcy can't get there, and Shapen has it knocked as he threw, and there's a flag rolled in. DJ Hicks with the hit on Blake Shapen.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, number 5, contact to the quarterback's helmet, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
There is no doubt the Aggies are as talented as anyone. They can't get out of their own way so far tonight.
No doubt, really good job by Cassius Howell getting his hand initially on the ball as Blake Shapen's releasing it, and then you just see the mental mistake by DJ Hicks. Like, you can't hit a quarterback high. That's going to be an easy flag every single time.
47 yards of penalties, but it's more the momentum that it has both ceased and handed over in numerous times to Mississippi State.
That's a 3rd down. They should be off the field. Mississippi State should be punting right now, but another penalty, mental mistake, giving Mississippi State extra life.
Ground game, Devon Booth breaks a tackle. And the effort carries him over the yard to gain. It's a first down for State.
Booth, such an underrated running back, 3rd team All-SEC last year. Had a couple big runs called back already this year. The stats should actually be better.
Shapen has it hit coming out of his hand, and it's taken away. A&M with the interception. It's Damian Sanford. Scrappy game for Sanford, playing in place of Scooby Williams. And Cassius Howell brought the pressure.
Back-to-back plays. Cassius Howell wins on a speed rush, gets his hand on the ball. This time leads to a takeaway, and A&M back in business.
Well, Blake Shapen frustrated with the protection that he is and isn't getting from his offensive line. And after the A&M takeaway, We got movement again. Which side was it? Aggies already backing up.
I'll tell you why Blake Shapen was so mad. He had Brennan Thompson on that play, and he still might be running with the football.
False start. Offense, number 79. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Brennan Thompson, one of the fastest players in all of college football, right here gets one-on-one. And if Shapen is not hit here, this might be a touchdown. There is so much green grass. He's got a step. Safety's going to be late getting there. That could have been a really big play. I think that's what got him so fired up on the sideline.
Well, there are a few plays where he ended up with Aggies in his lap and grass stains on his back. Here's Owens. They're really leaning on Ruben Owens now.
Yeah, us quarterbacks, we don't mind getting hit. But if it means we missed a touchdown, we don't like touchdowns coming off the board. We're kind of selfish in that way. We like yards. We like touchdowns. I can understand the frustration by Shapen.
So Ruben Owens in the backfield gets another chance to tote it. And Cole, we haven't seen Le'Veon Moss in the last couple of plays.
Yeah, he's been working with the director of football rehab, Joe Girardi, no pun since the Yankees played today, on the bike, off the bike, getting some high knees in. He had his helmet off for a while, just buckled back up like he looks like he may try to re-enter this football game, but no official update at this time.
He went for 139 yards against Auburn. He had 3 touchdowns against Notre Dame. All of those coming in the first half in South Bend. 3rd and 2. Craver in motion, the former Mississippi State Bulldog. Owens again lowers his head, and the entire pile will move. Meanwhile, Blake Shapen with a kumbaya moment on the sideline with his offensive line.
My bad. I was seeing red, guys. I love it, though. That's great leadership, honestly. Emotions can get out of control.
Luke Warnes didn't look like he loved it right there.
Well, no, hey, but it is what it is. Sometimes you got to have tough conversations. Sometimes emotions can get out of hand, but you always go back and say, hey, we're good. Like, hey, I appreciate you guys. Let's go get them next drive. I think that's great leadership there by Shapen.
Marcel Reed wants to throw. On first down, he's going deep. And a flag down. The feet got tangled with Kelly Jones and the intended receiver, Ashton Bethel Roman.
Pass interference. Defense, number 1. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Yeah, Kelly Jones knew he was beat. You'd rather give up 15 yards than 50. But this is another play. Watch Ashton Bethel Roman coming back towards the numbers. That ball has got to be thrown towards the sideline.
Okay.
Up and over the top. Right? Watch how he's got to adjust back inside. That's another ball. That's a deep throw that's got to be put towards the front pylon there. So you take the defense out of it, and you don't force your receiver to fight back through contact there. Another inaccurate throw downfield from Reed. But got a penalty. All good. 15 yards.
15-yard penalty in the last drive is what gave A&M good field position. We approach the 2-minute timeout on the run by Ruben Owens. A&M's offense has done very little in the first half. Marcel Reed, 3 of 10 through the air for 33 yards.
This is the 2-minute timeout.
Only 135 yards of offense for the Aggies. They're looking at a 2nd and 6 when we return to Kyle Field. All right, thanks, gentlemen. Yeah, the offenses have struggled tonight. About as comfortable walking down Bottle Cap Alley barefoot, watching what they failed to accomplish. And a deep one complete. There we go. Marcel Reed with a strike to Mario Craver, and he fights his way in. KC Concepcion with the extra effort and a 34-yard touchdown. KC Concepcion is 5'11", 190. You wouldn't know it based on that effort. And the strength, the plow into the end zone. Here's Bond. Randy Bond. A&M finds pay dirt.
Yeah, great recognition from Marcel Reed initially getting his eyes on this safety right here to see the rotation this way, and as soon as that, he knows he's got one-on-one with a corner post. Great ball. First time we've really seen him throw with conviction downfield, and Concepcion does the rest.
Borkircher helping out, little touch push at the end.
Oh yeah, love it. Get your boy in there, kind of picking up the DB. Let's take him in there too. It's a party. Well, that was just a really confident throw. Stepped into that one, didn't double clutch. Great recognition pre-snap, confirmed it post-snap, knew he had the one-on-one, came to it, and man, Concepcion has been such an impact on this offense.
We'll see if one play is enough to arise this Aggie offense from its slumber. Von Booth set to return for Mississippi State. So this season, for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, Allstate's going to make a contribution to that university's general scholarship fund. Thank you, Allstate.
All right, we saw the frustrations blow up a little bit on the sideline with Blake Shapen and some of the protection issues. You got 1 minute and 51 seconds. All your timeouts, plenty of time. This is a massive drive for Mississippi State here.
Shapen backpedaling, gets taken down. Third sack of the game, it's Cassius Howell.
Boy, if you are left tackle Javen James, you have a tight end helping you. You got two guys working on one. You cannot look at, he's going to get over to the left side way too far. He's got to know tight ends there.
Timeout. Texas A&M. Their first of the half. Please reset the game clock to 1:42.
Stop the clock.
When you have a tight end helping you, you let him run outside. You stay inside. You know, okay, you can come back to me if you want, but I got help on the outside. You cannot get beat back inside when you're on a double team on the defensive end.
And Cole, now we understand a little bit more why Blake Shapen was running red and frustrated with his offensive line. They have had to restructure this offensive line not only over the course of the season, but again tonight. Cole?
Let me show you what Jordan's talking about here when you set there. So a couple of things that you can do. First off, you can just short set that because you know you have help to the outside, or set with depth and get back. That way, if that inside move comes, you've already got time to be able to cut that thing off when Cassius Howell wants to go inside. It's a difficult task because he's a great rusher, but there are ways to offset it.
Still back into that trooper, okay? We know you've got history. Off the left side and Shapen with the carry. What would be better, to back into a trooper or to back into an official?
If the game is happening, I'd say trooper.
Texas A&M. Their second of the half.
Aggies stop the clock again. What's going through Blake Shapen's mind now?
He's just frustrated. Anytime you're not comfortable with what your offensive line's doing in protection, your eyes start to drop. You start to look at it. You start to look at the rush. And when you're playing quarterback, if you're not looking at the defense and the routes, you can't play the position.
Yeah.
So right now you're seeing his eyes drop. He's trying to escape maybe too early because he's not confident what he's seeing, and probably rightfully so because he's getting hit when he shouldn't.
What's a simple solution from a play calling standpoint?
Get the ball out quicker, right? You still have a lot of talent on the outside, a lot of speed with Brennan Thompson, Anthony Evans. Get the ball in their hands quickly, right, to neutralize that defensive front a little bit. Don't let them pin their ears back and come after you.
They're down 20. Four-man rush. Game's inside. They flick it out to the tight end. There's Seydou Traoré. He's taken down by Captain Torian York.
Timeout. Texas A&M. First final timeout of the half.
A&M will have some time left.
Boy, once again, you got 3 guys here working on 2. And you're going to overslide again and let someone on a looper come back and beat you inside. You got to have better awareness with your eyes of working in tandem. And right now, they're just a mess.
Jordan, what'd they do to that center and backside guard, though? They occupied him.
Yeah.
So those guys can't come with the slide to be able to help out in the gaps that they're supposed to be in. I'm telling you guys,
they didn't need to there, though.
Good for slide protection, man.
They had 3 guys on 2. You just got to let, if the one guy wants to go outside, you know somebody's coming back inside.
But if everybody slides with him like they're planned to, quote unquote, you got it covered.
Napoleon punts it away. Concepcion had a big return last time that was called back. This from the 19. And they get to him immediately. And State thought the ball came out and think they have a takeaway. The far side judge disagrees and says he was down.
Rolling on the field as the runner was down prior to losing possession.
Navias Sanders thought he had the recovery. Here's a look. Knee is on the bicep at that point, but then he's down.
Yeah, it's a good effort. Good job trying to sell it, too. This is where you're really going to test the development of Marcel Reed. 2-minute situation, minute and 23 seconds, no timeouts. So you got to be playing with a sense of urgency. Got to communicate really well to your guys with tempo that you got to get out of bounds when possible. Don't try to fight for extra yards. But these are the moments that are going to tell you.
On the field of the runner being down prior to losing possession is under video review.
Yeah, these are the moments that are going to tell you just how far Marcel Reed can take this team. When he's operating under pressure, late in first half, late in games, from the pocket. They're going to take a look at this again. When and where does that right knee come down? Maybe it's the left knee. Yeah, is the right knee down there? It's kind of covered. Left knee looked like it was on the bicep, but
yeah, then the rump was down before it was. Before it was loose.
Yeah, I just don't think anything there tells me this is going to get overturned.
Has firm control until after this, right?
Yeah, yeah. The rump, as you put it, goes down, and
I've got other words. I'm just not allowed to say them on television.
Right.
Well, let me ask you a question then. Is Reed now playing with some momentum after the big pass he's thrown for 67 yards in the game, and 34 of them came on the last time he put it in the air?
Confidence, right? What have we seen? What did we see the first really quarter and a half? Hesitation, right? So wasn't confident in what he's seen. You make a throw like we saw to Concepcion for the touchdown, that just it unlocks something in your brain. As you see, I think that ball, he's got firm control when that butt is down, or rump, either way. But to your point, a throw like that can unlock something in a quarterback. You know, especially when you have a slow, rough start, you're not confident in what you're seeing.
I mean, if they think the ball was loose while he still had his hand on it, then maybe it is a State takeaway.
I just felt like even as
after video review, the ruling on the field is upheld.
Okay.
First down, Texas A&M.
They checked that from every angle possible. 123, no timeouts. What do you want to start with?
An easy completion, right? This first one, you don't have to worry about getting out of bounds. You need to get the first down on 2-minute drives. That's the most important, so you can start to play with some tempo. So either an easy throw, maybe a screen, so a quick throw to the perimeter, or maybe a screen to the running back. Try to get a catch and run and pick up a first down, and then use tempo to pick up the urgency.
Gets it outside to Craver. quick whistle as his forward momentum was stopped.
Well, this is where you would have loved to have a second play called down with that, right? You know, okay, after the screen, we're going to get right on the ball. We're going to come to this. Taking up a lot of time here as the clock ticks down. Doesn't feel like they're really going to put the pedal to metal here and try to get points.
He's already thrown one pick tonight. And movement.
And maybe that's part of it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Mike Elko and Colin Klein do a lot of collaboration on play calling in these big moments, whether it's big third downs, big fourth downs, strategy. And so maybe Elko's saying, hey, our defense playing pretty good right now.
This could come with a 10-second runoff.
Offense, right guard. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still second down. This foul qualifies for a 10-second runoff. Please reset the game clock to 41 seconds.
And Mike Elko's probably thinking, let's just take it to the house.
Signal.
Now, definitely.
7 penalties for 57 yards and costly momentum killers. Great hands, kept it himself. Good sleight of hand.
It's an interesting, you know, we laugh. I think the Cabo Coaches Fund is pretty funny. These kids are making a lot of money these days. In the NFL, you do get fined for mental mistakes, for penalties, for stuff like that. We had a quarterback room where we had fines for stuff we didn't practice, right? In the NFL. So you got to find ways. I don't even know if you can do that legally, but you got to find ways to hold these kids accountable who really are professionals.
Yes, indeed.
In this day and age.
And all the promise that is ahead of Texas A&M, a top 10 program right now, 4-0, trying to reach uncharted heights that they haven't seen in nearly a century. The accountability is a big question mark. Gets you down to the sideline. Coles with Jeff Lebby.
Coach Lebby obviously protects him, a little bit of an issue. What can you and your staff do from a play calling perspective to help that in the second half?
Yeah, we've got to find a way to get in the rhythm in the run game, and then when we are throwing the ball around, we've got to have just long enough. Our guys are trying to win on the perimeter and really are. We've got to have just enough time to be able to sit in there and throw and catch.
Defensively, I know you feel good. They went a lot of 12 personnel. You've been able to stand up to that. That was a concern coming in.
Yeah, and defensively, we're playing our butt off. The only reason we're in the football game right now, we got to get in there and adjust on offense, come out and play great in the second half.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it.
He's been great as a big underdog, but they still haven't pulled off that conference upset. A low-scoring first half tonight. Fewest combined points in a conference game this year. Let's get to the studio and Peter Burns. T-Mobile 5G home internet. What a first half for both sides. I can hear Dolly singing "Baby I'm Burning." It's 7-3. Both teams have turned it over. There have been 10 combined penalties. This game through one half has been uglier than Jordan's suit, and yet here we are. At least he can change that. There's no changing the first half. It's hard to defend, but you're an offensive mind. How do you break it down what's happening with both sides?
Well, look, I think the ground game for A&M was promising. Then Le'Veon Moss gets knocked out, and Marcel Reed's 5 of 12 for 71 yards. The interception had the big play at the end, but he's been inconsistent. And on the other side, Mississippi State can't block anybody. They had a long drive, 15 plays, 83 yards. They need to get the ground game going to help protect Blake Shapen a little bit. It's just been penalties and sacks and interceptions. Someone's got to make a play on offense.
Hey, from a positive standpoint, Mississippi State had a massive goal line stand to force a turnover on downs. Both defenses have obviously held their own in this low-scoring game. Not quite 3-2 from 2008 with Auburn and Mississippi State, but not pretty nonetheless.
Had to bring that up.
Yep.
You really didn't like the suit?
No, I love the suit, actually. I just felt like a good line, you know. Knuckler taken 2 yards deep by Terry Bussey, and he gets hog-tied and waylaid, taken down at the 12. So Marcel Reed goes back to work. Cole?
Spoke to Mike Elko coming out of halftime about this Texas A&M Aggie football team. He said, listen, defense great. We're happy with what we've seen. Don't feel like we need to make too many adjustments there. Offensively, we want to lean on the run just a little bit more, try to kind of force feed the run game here in the second half.
Well, and that run game looked really good. That one drive where they majored in 12 personnel, one running back, 2 tight ends. See if they get back to that.
Sorry, Jordan. I asked him that. I said, you're already living in 12. You feel like it should be there? And he said, yeah, absolutely. We just got to make sure we hand it off.
And sometimes 13 personnel. That was a 15-play, 83-yard drive where they turned it over on the downs on the goal line. Still no Le'Veon Moss, and a cutback by Reuben Owens to only find a couple. This has been a very sure tackling team tonight. Mississippi State, including Brandon Jennings on that.
Yeah, and I think that's maybe the highlight of the first half. The bright spot for Mississippi State is just how well this defense have played. I mean, we know the turnaround that they from last year, worst in the SEC, one of the worst in the country, to where they are now. And they are definitely holding this A&M offense in check.
They upgraded across the board from a personnel standpoint. Pick up the blitzer, and it's fired incomplete to Casey Concepcion. It's a 12-game conference losing streak for Mississippi State. And if they can snap that streak tonight, they will send the 3rd top 10 team in college football today to a loss, joining Penn State on the road at UCLA and Texas on the road in the Swamp. A little more movement up front for Mississippi State than the D-line that we saw in the first half. Play clock late. Pressure from his right side. Reed can't escape. Mississippi State with the sack. First of the night for the Bulldogs. Calvin Dinkins.
That's a really good job initially of blocking this up. You're going to see the pressure on the outside. The offensive line is going to slide in that direction, but just nowhere to go downfield. Man coverage, so really good coverage, and great job retracing there by Brandon Jennings. 44 to stop the scramble from Reed.
Anthony Evans back to receive this one from White. Not great, but it takes an A&M hop. And that'll eat up some yardage and trickle all the way down to the 35. Monday night on the SEC Network, everybody's favorite show. That ball wasn't dead, and it was scooped up. But State already had 10 guys on the sideline. So react to that. Let's react to this. It's Read and React Monday night on the SEC Network.
Tom, something we pointed out earlier in this game was the differences in the Mississippi State run game. I'm going to take you into the elite execution and the play drawing that they've got under Jeff Lebby. Just like if you played with the Miami Dolphins in Tecmo Bowl back in the day. This was their one run play that they had. Dan Marino and the gun would hand it off. Mississippi State running something a little bit similar nowadays. Just get into that A-gap as quickly as possible. Get downhill. Those running backs square up to the line of scrimmage. Get the head moving forward. Get north and south in a hurry. Just going back to the little Tecmo Bowl play calling, guys.
Can you give us the theme music, Cole?
I can't come up with it right now. No,
we get
there, so I can't.
Throw it to Jerry Rice on the slant every single time. Fluff Bothwell picks up 7 on first down. Sophomore from Oneonta, Alabama, transferred in from South Alabama. Back-to-back 100-yard games for the man they call Fluff. Got that nickname as a pudgy baby. No Fluff anymore. And he picks up a first down on consecutive carries.
That's a huge drive for Mississippi State to get some confidence back and also force A&M to not lean on the ground game, right? You get a score here, a touchdown, you can force A&M to play from behind a little bit, take the crowd out of it.
And there's a tackle behind the line of scrimmage by Dalton Brooks.
Boy, Dalton Brooks there, shot out of a cannon. Coming backside.
Second down, 11. Chapin's got a share with the entire offensive line, and they tried to misdirection on the direct snap to Fluff Bothwell. And kind of get the feeling after Cole's chat at halftime with Mike Elko, what we've seen so far from Jeff Lebby. I feel like both teams going to be happy just try to grind out the second half. Pressure. Whoa, smoke, but got it away. And a great open field tackle made by Will Lee. Dalton Brooks ended up in Shapen's hip.
Yeah, once again, Dalton Brooks on a pressure. Blake Shapen knows he's coming. Right here, knows his hot route is the running back, but it's going to take a second for the running back to get his eyes around. Holds onto it as long as he can. Really good job of just getting the ball out of his hands, but even better job of forcing the issue, the quick throw, and rallying to the tackle, stopping Mississippi State on third.
Both teams go 3 and out on their opening possession of the second half. Concepcion asks for a fair catch, takes it just shy of the 12. 5 minutes into the second half, still not much offense. 38-yard punt. Back to work after this. IPB, thanks.
Problem is that Bo Jackson only had one play, and if you picked it, you stuffed it every time. It's an easy mistake that Tecmo amateurs make.
I was more of a Sega Genesis kind of guy.
Joe Montana football is great.
Nah, Madden, 93.
Ambulance came out, ran over people.
Yeah, that was funny. What's funnier than that? I mean, really.
Your Twitter feed, MacBooks.
Marcel Reed gets rid of it to the perimeter. And Mario Craver. There's a lot of different ways you can measure a player's impact. Mario Craver's one of the best receivers in the country by yardage, but it's not just that. He does a lot of things well, and he's off the charts.
No doubt. Separation. He's number 6 out of 716 receivers in the country in separation.
Over the middle to the tight end.
In other words, he's pretty dang good at getting open.
Yeah.
And that involves speed, that involves route running, that involves knowledge of space.
Five targets, 3 catches for 18 yards. State has held their former teammate in check. There's a big gash for Ruben Owens.
And that's the impact of having playmakers like Concepcion and Craver. When you stretch a defense horizontally, you start to get those quick throws in space. Those linebackers start to inch out a little bit, and the safeties start to get their eyes out. That's when the runs really start to hit up the middle. That's the balance that you need to find with this offense.
Red Hibbler checks in for Mississippi State at one end, and now he flips to the other side. Coleman Hustler's trying to move his chess pieces around pre-snap. I'm not sure they got to where they needed to be. And wide open out of the backfield is Ruben Owens. And he's corralled just past the 45. Gain of 19.
Well, I love this. Marcel Reed finding the check down. He really wanted to push that further downfield. We saw him earlier in the game force a deep throw when the check down was there. That time moved the sticks by just dumping it off easy. And another penalty.
False start. Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
A&M's just doing the waltz. Up, over, back, over, up, over, back.
Yeah, that's Crownover's 4th false start penalty on the year. The right tackle. That can't happen at home. You know, on the road every now and then it can happen. It can't happen as many times as it has for him, and it can't happen at home.
Still moving pieces around on that chessboard. Trying to call the perfect defense. They've got Moss back on the field, finds the edge, little shoulder dip, and a great ankle tackle after the 4-yard gain. Gold, what do you got?
Well, I think it's interesting that Mark Naboo, the center, came out after that false start, which would tell me that maybe something was wrong with the cadence or the snap. Maybe the snap not happening when Marcel Reed thought it was supposed to. You saw Reed immediately go down to the center, have some words, but that's not an exchange you usually expect in the middle of the game without an injury.
Well, that's what they ended up doing at the end of the game against Notre Dame inside the red zone, but it failed on an illegal snap. Not ideal to be switching your centers. Here's Moss.
And that was a contested battle in spring and fall. I mean, these were both guys that I think the coaching staff thought had a chance to win it. Naboo obviously been around this program a little bit longer, more entrenched with the guys who had been here and been around the offense, but I think they had confidence in both. But still, you can roll guards and tackles in game. You don't want to roll your center too often. That communication between the center quarterback is too important.
And Coley Fayu is the one who's in there now.
When last time Mississippi State did this, they dropped a few guys out. Body language looks like they're coming this time.
From the edge, and Reed goes deep, overthrew his intended receiver, Craver. Teron Manning was in coverage.
This is another one of those throws that you just wish Marcel would have put a little more air on it. When you got tight coverage, you don't got a guy running free. You need to give your receiver more time to adjust. It's either got to be back shoulder so he can open up to it, or it's got to be have a lot more air so your guy can make an adjustment to it, get his eyes around. I mean, that time, I don't know, was that Craver? I don't think Craver even saw the ball before it landed.
Anthony Evans out of Converse Judson back to receive this punt. Hesitation and then a kick away. Fair catch, backing him up to about the 8, 35-yard punt. Midway through the third quarter, we've got a defensive showdown tonight. Guys on that side of the ball confident. 10 combined points scored so far.
She is the highest ranking member of the Corps Cadets. She is Reveille. This week, Texas A&M lost Reveille 9, who patrolled the Kyle Field sidelines for 6 seasons, the last in 2020. Now she will take her place among her predecessors, all forever guarding the stadium and campus that was once and shall always be their home.
So many really cool traditions here at Texas A&M. Miss Rev retired in 21, and now we are on to Miss Rev 10. Lake Chapin and Mississippi State. Chapin 7 of 10 through the air, but only 43 yards tonight. Double clutches and delivers a strike to the edge, and Aiden Williams, former Ole Miss Rebel.
I think Jeff Levy's got to find a way to get Brennan Thompson the ball at some point. Just one reception tonight for 10 yards. He's their fastest player.
Thought of the formation at the numbers outside the screen. The ball's on the ground, and A&M fell on it, I believe. Then it squirted free again, and State may have saved it. I thought Dan Hayes was on top of it at the outset, and then it came popping out, and Devon Booth wins this game of Hungry Hippo.
This is an RPO, so Chapin sees the pressure here, and he's going to pull it and throw a quick one to the right, but just loses control of it as he pulls it out of the belly of the running back, and really lucky to get that one back from Mississippi State.
Erases the game for first down. Chapin steps up in the pocket on time again. This is Anthony Evans. That will leave third and about 3. Pardon me, 4th and 2, excuse me. So an empty possession for Mississippi State.
Well, these two defenses are like two Cy Young pitchers right now. Just K after K after K after K, strikeout left and right. At some point, a turnover, a special teams play is going to be the difference.
Polium booms it. Concepcion at the 25. They got tripped up just enough. A&M the 13-yard return after a 58-yard punt. Let's get it to our friends at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Any gate can be a tailgate.
Marcel Reed is 8 of 17 for 103 yards. He is a football lifer. His dad was both the defensive coordinator and later the head coach at Tennessee State. Reed, growing up in the Nashville area, would run out with the team. He had his own Tennessee State uniform. Here's a bust by Owens, and he's able to pick up the first down and take it past the logo. Reuben Owens has been a difference maker as much as anything tonight.
Boy, I love two tight ends, and you're going to get all the movement going this way, and just a great job reading the flow of those linebackers, cutting back, running. Actually got a nice little bump encouragement from his tight end Micah Riley there to get north and south. Getting back into 12 personnel and running the football here. I like this from A&M.
Reed taking his time, and now will take off. And he completes it to Craver. First down, sideline, and a cutback. Beautiful run by Craver to set up A&M with a first and goal, 42 yards.
Boy, watch Mario Craver. He's going to be on a crossing route. He's going to hit the linebacker, and then he's going to get his eyes on Marcel Reed. See that he's scrambling, and a great job of tracing and mirroring him as he scrambles. He's actually supposed to be running across the field the other direction. But just a heck of a football play and awareness. And nearly made that 6.
The State have another goal line stand in them. Owens taken down at the line.
So last time they got down here, obviously, was the first time this year. Maybe not first time this year because they kicked the field goal, but one of the times they've been stopped, right? Been so good in the red zone. I want to see him use Marcel Reed's legs. Get him out on the perimeter, whether it's with an option to give him a running, the ability to get to the corner and use his legs, or whether it's a two-way go where we can throw it. We haven't seen him use his athleticism on the perimeter down here in the red zone.
Well, he came off the bench against LSU last year, was magnificent in the run game. Reed with a fade. It is incomplete. Craver blanketed by Kelly Jones. Already has a pick tonight.
And look, Casey Concepcion's a heck of a receiver, but you're throwing a jump ball to a 6'4" corner. And Kelly Jones, long arms. This is just a really tough ask, and it's actually a really good ball and gets into Concepcion's chest there, but too much hand fighting. Look at the wingspan there. Now third down. Is this where they're going to get him on the edge? You got running back offset to your left.
That's Moss. To throw again into the end zone. Touch pass, touchdown. Casey Concepcion, second of the night. Colin Klein intimated that they want to make Marcel Reed more of a pocket passer. And the play calling on that goal-to-go situation suggested as much, and it paid off.
It shows you how much confidence they have in him. No safeties, right? So you're going to give Concepcion a two-way go right here. He's just going to work. Beats him to the inside. Little option route. And a great job there by Marcel Reed putting that on the money.
Bond's point after is good. He's never missed one in his A&M career. Does A&M have enough separation? Marcel Reed has thrown 2 touchdowns tonight. Both of them have gone to number 7. Casey Concepcion. Aggies lead 14-3. Well, Marcel Reed has picked it up after a very slow start, finding one of his favorite targets, Casey Concepcion, with a couple of receiving touchdowns tonight. What a turnaround.
Yeah, the confidence. You're not seeing him double clutch the ball or hesitate. The ball's coming out on time and accurate. It's a great job rebounding from a brutal start for what is still a very young quarterback, still early in his development with a ton of talent. Trying to show that he can be the type of quarterback that can take this Aggies program to the college football playoff and beyond.
No return for Mississippi State. What is Jeff Levy thinking as a play caller and Blake Shapen as a quarterback now that they're down 2 scores for the first time?
Yeah, right now in the huddle, you got to say, hey, There's still 3 minutes left in the third quarter, and we're just down really 2 scores. Touchdown and a field goal and extra point or a 2-point conversion. So don't panic. Resist the urge to feel like you got to get all points back on one drive. The best they've looked all night was when they ran the football all the way down the field. So still a lot of ball game. Don't need to get it all back here.
Bothwell has been their leading rusher tonight, and that ground game has nowhere to go on first down. Bothwell swallowed up.
Well, that might change things. I mean, when you're running into a brick wall, Jeff Lebby's got to go and, okay, I got to get Brendan Thompson involved. I got to get Anthony Evans involved. I got to get my playmakers in space here.
Second 11, and anyone looking for it. One of the things we talked to Blake Shapen about was this is not a pro-style offense. There are option routes that my receivers have, and it took me a while when I first got here to get on the same page. I was used to working with a route tree. Miscommunication one way or another on that one.
Yeah, that time Shapen thought Thompson was running a slant route. He's trying to get inside and get vertical. The noise may be partially to do with that.
They overload one side, 4-man rush. Out to the edge, need to make a man miss. Evans does, but only gets another yard.
Boy, this defense right now is swarming. And Jeff Lebby leaving his offense out.
How about this? So they're going to go for it on fourth down. This place is rocking.
We got to call timeout now.
Play clock at 1. And Jeff Lebby did just that. Credit the 12th man for forcing State to take a timeout, now possibly to rethink. And indeed, they'll bring the punt team on.
That was deafening. I don't know if I agree with the decision there. Maybe just trying to get to the line of scrimmage, even get a cheap penalty, because it's still the third quarter. Right? You turn over the ball right there, you're pretty much giving A&M more points. I think they're going to come out here and punt it.
Well, we did get a chance to see what Jeff Lebby had drawn up.
They definitely were trying to run a play, though.
Fair catch, Concepcion at the 21. 49-yard punt. And now into the hands of the Mississippi State defense if they want to hang in there. But A&M offense, which has found good rhythm. Reed has completed 7 of his last 10 passing attempts.
Yeah, I think that last drive was such a testament to the confidence Colin Klein has in his quarterback. You're inside the 5 and you go drop back in the pocket twice in a row. That just shows you he truly believes, and so does Mike Elko, that Marcel Reed, as athletic and dynamic as he is with his legs, can win from the pocket. And Elko even said that's what this offense, that's when it's at its best. When a guy is a passer first, a runner second, and you're seeing that here in the second half from Marcel Reed.
Carry for Texas A&M, and they're going a little bit deeper in the running back row. Jamarian Morrell with the carry. And another opportunity for him. And he busts it to the outside. Huge gain for 23. And a Texas A&M first down on just his second carry of the night.
Boy, you're going to get 2 pullers right here, and watch both these linebackers just over pursue, and that ends up opening the cutback lane there. You had true freshman Tyler Lockhart and Brian Lanier from this third level, the safety position, over pursue on that play. And a great read by true freshman Jamarian Morrow, excuse me.
And there's an injured player on the Mississippi State sideline. Jefferson.
And again, we haven't seen Le'Veon Moss since he went out, what was that, second quarter, down around the goal line?
He came back for a couple plays.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah. To start the second half, but very limited. Jefferson into the tent. He missed the opener against Southern Miss with a foot injury. This is State's, by the way, first trip outside of the Magnolia State. They opened in Hattiesburg and have been at home since. Hands off again. And Morrow gets maybe a yard. Leaves second and 10.
And this is where the State defense has got to force the issue. This is a opportunistic defense. They create turnovers in bunches. Came into the game first in the SEC, fourth in the FBS with 10 turnovers. Already have one tonight. I mean, that's what it's going to take to get back in this game as we inch closer and closer to the fourth quarter.
Their sixth consecutive game with an interception. Swing pass, Concepcion, first down. 13-yard pickup. Marcel Reed is staying in the pocket and delivering on time.
And Colin Klein's doing a great job of moving his weapons around that time, bringing Casey Concepcion from one side to the other. Created space for him in the flats, and just a nice easy throw for Marcel Reed.
And so that'll bring it into the third quarter. After a sluggish start, A&M's offense has gotten it into gear, and they pulled out of the mud. Reed has completed 8 of his last 11. And in front of 100,000 plus, they're looking for the Aggies to stay undefeated as we head to the fourth quarter in Aguilera. Varsity's horns are sawed off. A&M leads 14-3 moments ago. Cole with Mike Oko.
How important is timing going to be for Marcel Reed getting the ball out here in this fourth quarter?
Yeah, I think it's critical. I think he got into a little bit better rhythm towards the end of the third quarter. We got to carry that over to the fourth.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
And Marcel Reed out of the shotgun swings it out to Mario Craver. And Craver stays on his feet after a 3-yard pickup.
That's a great question from Cole there, because it is important, right? Turnovers are going to come when you hold on to the ball too long in the pocket, maybe get hit, sack, fumble, or as we've seen with Marcel, when he waits and hesitates, that's when those errant throws and the interceptions have come. So if you can keep him on time, get the ball out of his hands quickly, you can play clean football.
Comes from a football family. His late grandfather played offensive line in the NFL for Washington after being an All-America at Tennessee State, where his dad eventually took over as a head coach. And that one's on time. A spin move by Craver, and finally out of bounds inside the 20. He used to run out the tunnel with the Tennessee State team and would go out as a youngster and field punts during warm-ups. There he is in the Tiger uniform. Said, I was 6 years old. My foot was in a boot after a broken ankle. The team was playing at the Air Force Academy, and I was out there during pregame fielding punts.
In full pads.
Full pads.
I love it.
He said, you know, I take the shoulder pads off. I go watch the game from the press box, but still have the pants and everything on, spikes on. Watching my dad coach him off. Le'Veon Moss finds a couple.
It's good to see Le'Veon Moss back out there. Had such a hot start to the game, and coming off a career day last week against Auburn. It's going to be important down the stretch for this A&M team to be able to run the football effectively, physically between the tackles to complement the athleticism of Marcel Reed and the speed they have on the outside. It's a critical piece for that.
trying to deliver a blow. It's Le'Veon Moss. Le'Veon Moss's return after a torn ACL and a torn MCL, nothing short of miraculous. Mike Elko telling us that they knew that he was getting back to great shape physically right off the jump. He said there was no atrophy in the injured leg, and the team doctor said we've never seen that before.
That's insane to think about. I've had 5 surgeries on one knee, and that quad usually just disappears. It's gone.
He was able to hit the ground running, and then on top of that, limiting his contact, they were able to ease him back in before he had that monster game in a win at Notre Dame up the middle. First down run for Moss, a senior from Walker, Louisiana. The only thing that went wrong in a game at Notre Dame in the first half, he was on the sideline throwing up, came right back in, scored a rushing touchdown. 3 of those in the first half. A&M was able to snap a 13-game road losing streak against ranked teams by knocking off the Irish. Now it's Reuben Owens. So Reed will keep it himself, and he dances his way into the end zone. He has thrown for 2, and now he has run for 1. 7-yard touchdown run.
Boy, finally using Marcel Reed's athleticism. He's going to read the end man on the line of scrimmage. When he gets down here, you got a puller to block, and you got Marcel Reed in his legs. Getting north and south. That's the athleticism that's a difference maker down here when everything condenses in the red zone.
Bond punches it through. A&M's offense was shaken but not stirred in the first half. Now in the second half, they look like an entirely different team. Marcel Reed says, I'm a throwing quarterback who can run. Yeah, he can.
Unlock more sports for one unbeatable price. Get unrivaled coverage all year long. Introducing the new ESPN Fox One bundle.
It's a 19th meeting all time between Texas A&M and Mississippi State. It's dead even, 9 wins apiece. The Aggies looking for their 3rd consecutive win head-to-head. It has been Texas A&M party just about all day. The blackout, celebration, sellout. Let's take a look at our high-speed highlights brought to you by T-Mobile 5G home internet. What a defensive performance for this wrecking crew.
Yeah, it's been swarming, right? The crowd's been in it. But this defensive line has just taken over a Mississippi State offensive line. It's been a revolving door. They've been all over Blake Shapen. Deflection led to the touchdown, or the interception there. Cassius Howe, second the SEC in sacks, getting his fair share as well. But the leader of this defense, Torian York, has been fantastic.
Cole, I'm going to blow your mind with a comp that an Aggie staffer gave me pregame. As Shapen tries to get this offense on track. That's the ball came out, popped out into the Aggies' hands, and Dalton Brooks takes it to the near sideline. Anthony Evans coughed it up. The Aggies have a takeaway, and they've got this game in a firm grip now.
What a dagger from this defense. Jordan Shaw, the transfer from Washington, does a great job here of standing up Anthony Evans, then going for the ball as Evans is really trying to secure it. And right into the hands of Dalton Brooks.
The A&M defense delivers again. Consecutive weeks of shutting down the opponent. Just one stat total. They've held the last two opponents to 1 for 22 on third down.
Jeez.
And another takeaway for this Aggies defense. Here's Reuben Owens. Cole, we were talking about Torian York a moment ago. An Aggie staffer who's been here for decades said, you know what? I think the comp is Dat Nguyen.
He's got the energy for sure. I mean,
yeah,
the fire, the intensity he plays with, Tom, I could absolutely see it.
And he plays above maybe his physical traits.
Well, he's
not one of the best ever.
He's not that 6'1", 220, 6'3", 240 linebacker. He's a little bit shorter in stature, but man, he makes up for it with heart and obviously work ethic based on what we heard from everybody on that staff yesterday.
What a game for this A&M defense. They've held State to 133 total yards. Reuben Owens. And that pile ends up getting shoved, but it was whistled forward. Progress had been stopped prior to the first down. 3rd and 1. What do you go to here?
Well, the run game has been really good, but I just love giving Marcel Reed the option to pull it and run. You want him to take a shot?
I think what we've seen from Colin Klein is he's developing Marcel Reed as a passer, and developing that confidence.
I think they're going to bring Concepcion in motion here. That could be a little pull and find him in the flats, or
Reed, pump fake, a little Olay move, and now he'll scramble for it. And a first down by Marcel Reed.
And that's exactly what they did. Gave Marcel Reed the option to pull it. Had KC Concepcion in the flat, and Marcel Reed just showing his athleticism. Trying to throw it here, sticks his foot in the ground. And he is dynamic, really showing the full range of his capability as a quarterback with his arm and with his legs.
And Colin Klein's got a playbook that can be expanded when Marcel Reed is doing that. On the sweep, it's Craver. Touchdown, Texas A&M. Craver hit the crane on him. That was a quick 24-yard drive after the takeaway.
Watch the effect that Marcel Reed as a runner has on these guys right here. Eyes in the backfield, and that's what allows Craver to out-leverage those defenders. Right, we saw the last touchdown run was Marcel Reed keeping it and get north and south, and then now everybody's watching him, and you out-leverage.
Did you have a bar bet on whether or not you could get the vision cones in?
Yeah, I needed to get 2 in one place, so that really helped me out there.
You are a man ahead of his time. There's already been a czar of the telestrator. He might be the king of it. Aggies on a roll here in the second half.
SEC Saturday Night is presented by T-Mobile 5G Home Internet. If you didn't know T-Mobile has home internet, you do now.
It has been an imperfect game from an execution standpoint for Texas A&M, but college football itself is imperfect. Already, 2 top 10 losses. Penn State on the road at UCLA. Maybe they need a longer runway, and the Longhorns lost in the swamp. Good week to be idle. Oklahoma setting up well for Red River, huh? And no return. We're talking about this Aggie defense and the job that Torian York has done as a junior leader. 3rd season as a captain. 10 tackles tonight. How do you measure his impact and effectiveness?
Well, if you're a baseball fan, you should be really familiar with WAR. Wins above replacement. It's really an all-encompassing measurement of a player's value. And with the analytics that we have, Torian York is one of the best in the entire country.
Chapin, they're going to fake the reverse, and Brennan Thompson finds just a yard after all that. So this is measured against who would be on the field if he's not. Fifth in the country?
Fifth out of 1,000. That just tells you the importance and the value that Torian York has, not just in productions, not just tackling and covering, but the impact that he has for this defense is massive.
Nice cut back and a first down run by Devon Book. Gets outside the numbers. Torian York, growing up in Temple, Texas, was at a camp where a coach from UTSA said to one of his teammates, he's soft, he needs to work on his core. And like the Michael Jordan meme, he took it personally. He was wearing number 521. That pass is complete on a big hit. 521 in that camp, and he never forgot it. So every morning he would get up and do 521 sit-ups.
What?
521.
It's the Herschel Walker diet, right?
Yeah. Chapin going deep. State looking for life. They got it! Touchdown, Brennan Thompson! 44-yard strike and a stare down. 44-yard touchdown. And we have seen more offense in this fourth quarter than we saw in the entire first half. Teams doubling their point production.
And that was an unbelievable throw from Blake Chapin. They had to have an answer, had to have a quick answer, and that was as pretty as it gets.
Kyle Ferry for the point after. Oh, bad snap, bad hold, and a crunch. Cole, you mentioned they had some issues with their long snapper earlier this game, and Will Lee made the holder pay for it. Marion Houck had it fall off of his hands. By the time it was reset, kicker was gone and he had nowhere to go.
Well, let's go back to this touchdown. Brennan Thompson here is just going to run vertical down the field. He's working on Des Ricks, who coming into this game had only given up 42 yards. He's a really good cover corner, but it's the speed of Brennan Thompson that is just undeniable. The
number
ball
3 for Texas A&M will become number 89.
Was so perfect from Blake Chapin. Threw that well before Brennan Thompson was ever looking. And if you want a measure of speed, he's the fastest in the FBS. 22.4 miles per hour. And you saw all of it there. I'd love to see the GPS numbers on that. It might have been up around 22.5, 22.6.
There's not many dudes in the NFL that hit 23 miles an hour across the season, so that is moving.
Levy was with him at Oklahoma. Thompson is a Texas native, Under Armour All-America and a state champion in the 200. On a 21.2 200 meters. Squib kick, what a catch. Wow. Mario Craver snags it. He'll have decent field position. And to the point you made earlier, you're going to need some sort of defensive.
That was a dangerous play there by Craver. I mean, you obviously can't let it go either because it can bounce around and it's a foot race to try to pick it up. But that one's not spiraling, right? Receivers are used to catching a nice spiral, that time end over end, but great job by Craver of snagging it. And
did you see the equipment team just then? It was like a
what was that? Like a pit crew.
It was like a pit crew taking the jersey off Ashton Bethel Roman. They changed the tires, maybe put a wedge in there, gave him a splash.
Brent Key's got a much easier answer for that.
Yeah, just put a nightgown on him. Here's a bounce for Reuben Owens.
Owens just bounced off Jamil Burrows, who weighs 330 pounds. It's great to see Ruben Owens getting an extended look and opportunity tonight. He missed 13 games last year with a foot injury.
Yeah, that injury happened in the first scrimmage for A&M, and he didn't get on the field until the Texas game. He was a 5-star recruit and the #1 running back coming out of his class. And there's Owens again. And speaking of that class, Marcel Reed was telling us that this recruiting class with guys like Reed, Owens, and Torian York, he said we still have the same group chat that we got together on a recruiting night. That recruiting visit, he said we had a good time. The parents had a great time. They had casino night set up. And Torian York remembers it to the day. He said our parents are still really tight and good friends. And the other thing that Marcel Reed added, he said, you know, we didn't have to remove that many guys from the group chat. We've stuck together. 2nd and 4. Owens flips. And here he goes. Ruben Owens to the outside. And he lays off the accelerator late as he's escorted out of bounds after a 37-yard run.
Watch the block here by Reed Adams. He's going to get a double team, and he's going to get a little kick out right here. And Ruben Owens, a great job of staying patient, bouncing it outside. Obviously, you see the physicality that he runs with, but also some speed to beat you around the edge if he needs to. And this is where this Mississippi State defense was completely rebuilt up front. Right, they hit the reset button up front. Depth is kind of an issue, and they're just wearing down here late in this game. A&M's leaning on them.
First carry of the night for Amari Daniels. Owens is now on the sideline, I think, trying to catch his breath after a couple of big runs. A&M, after a sluggish first half, has now run for 268.
I still can't get over Torian York doing 521 sit-ups a day. Yeah. Have you done 521 sit-ups in your life? No shot.
You'd have to make fun of my Billy for a long time before I did that.
Yeah, that's. I just don't see the return on that investment, Jordan. I'm not trying to make varsity anymore.
Tom, I don't see it either.
I tell you, I did speak to Tommy Moffitt, the strength coach for Texas A&M, legendary strength coach in this league, and talking about Torian York before the game, he said there's this hit pad on the squat rack, and he said I think he said it's called the answer. And these guys work on like shooting their hands to get off blocks. He did it 100 times a day in the weight room the entire offseason. Tommy said I'd be on the phone in my office and just hear bong, 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 bong. He kept doing it every single day. So obviously determination not an issue for Torian York.
I'm getting tired just thinking about it. You know what? I need a Dr. Pepper. What an event it's been all day today. We take a look at Fansfield, brought to you by Dr. Pepper.
And the blackout has been in full force. You saw it walking around town all day. They're not wearing black, but they can party.
They can party real good.
Oh, yeah, that guy, he knows. He knows what he's doing. Oh, yeah.
You know, Colin Klein might join that mariachi band. He plays the mandolin. If he can play the mandolin, I think he can.
I'm going to be honest.
Those guys.
I don't even know what a mandolin is.
You're going to listen to some bluegrass on your flight tomorrow.
I don't know what bluegrass is.
I had to look the mandolin up too. I thought it was the character from the new Star Wars show.
If shame was possible, Jordan, for you. Here's a bounce and a good tackle on Amari Daniels. Timeout taken by Mississippi State.
But really, what's a mandolin?
I believe it's
you believe
4-string, double string,
State.
high pitch. It's like a teeny tiny guitar,
like a ukulele.
30 seconds late.
Size-wise, yes. But if you listen to Mumford & Sons, for example,
yeah,
you'll hear a mandolin.
I like Mumford.
I like how Colin Klein described it. It separates itself. He goes, well, it's the the strings are together. And I was just like, I don't, what is it? That does nothing for me. So
Colin Klein accomplished pianist and the mandolin and the violin. And we were kind of joking around with him yesterday. When's the last time you played the piano? And he goes, you know, I'm a football coach, right? Like, you think I have time just to sit down and play the piano? But some of his kids are now taking piano lessons. Maybe they'll bring it back. He was a sensational quarterback at Kansas State.
He was making music tonight with some play calls, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's right. Bond on for the field goal. He lost a job in fall camp, got it back due to an injury. This is a 27-yard attempt. And he's taken advantage of the second chance at the kicking job. When we return, Cole and Jordan will play the mandolin for you. Final game of the day in the Southeastern Conference here at Kyle Field. Let's take a look at the storylines. Georgia with a comfortable win against Kentucky. Gunnar Stockton threw for 196. Oklahoma getting ready for Red River, 44-0 behind Michael Hawkins Jr. And Bama scored the final 23 points of the game to escape Vanderbilt. This was the one that had everybody downstairs applauding when we were getting on the elevator to come up. As you can imagine, I don't know about Texas, but I cannot figure out Florida for the life.
I know. Like, that Florida defense is good, so I didn't expect Texas to roll in there and have a ton of success on offense. I'm surprised at how much success Florida had on offense. They had 400 and something yards.
Especially against that defense.
Yeah, exactly. And we just hadn't seen that. We hadn't seen DJ play like half of what he was last year. I didn't get a chance to watch the whole thing, but looked pretty dang good from the highlights that I saw.
Blake Shapen 13 of 17 for 136 tonight. Mississippi State got off to a 4-0 start this season, including a home win against Arizona State, knocking off a ranked team. But this will be consecutive losses without some sort of miraculous comeback. Incomplete. And I think now if you work off the headlines, there's a flag down. Working off the headlines at this point.
Defense, number 27. The ball in place of the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
We're starting to see some separation. There may not be two elite teams, but the middle of the pack starting to pull away from the bottom.
No doubt.
Bottom few.
No doubt. Looking at how Alabama has continued to get better since week 1, losing to Florida State. I mean, they look really good. Beat a really good Vandy team today.
Here's Bothwell, runs through a would-be tackler and steps out of bounds back at the 37.
And I think what's intriguing about this A&M team, obviously the second half has been phenomenal. Taking the entire game into account, we still haven't seen them put together 4 quarters, which in one way has got to give you a lot of excitement and hope, because you're like, man, if and when we do put it together.
Shapen slings it out to Bothwell, and he's taken down behind the line of scrimmage. You know, before the game, I was looking at the schedule, and Bothwell is injured.
Timeout on the field for player injury.
And you hope this isn't serious, but that right leg kind of got crumpled under on the tackle from Jordan Lockhart. And then looking at his right ankle. And Fluff Bothwell, who was a standout at South Alabama last year, was off to a fantastic start for Mississippi State this season. 4th in the league in rushing touchdowns, back-to-back 100-yard games, including a $134 against Tennessee last week.
It's a tough night for Mississippi State to roll into College Station here in front of 107,000 and be as banged up as they were up front, right? I mean, you've been without Blake Steen, your starting tackle, since week 1. You lost Albert Reese, the right tackle, so you're moving things around and you're facing a hostile environment with a really good defensive front, and that's kind of been the storyline tonight. And obviously seeing Fluff Bothwell go down there isn't good for Jeff Lebby and this Mississippi State team. He's been such an integral part. This is still a really good football team. I know the score is not reflecting that right now, but the progress they've made from last year to this year in year 2 under Jeff Lebby. Just some unfortunate injuries that haven't helped their cause tonight.
Well, they'll have a chance to regroup with an off week next week before they go to Gainesville and take on Florida. Meanwhile, on the A&M side, you mentioned the fact that they haven't put together a full effort on both sides of the ball. Before the day started, looking at the schedule, you can make a case that, well, they've got a few weeks to kind of ramp up. State today, then Florida, then on the road at Arkansas. Now you feel differently about Florida.
Yeah.
And no matter what's happening at Arkansas,
they can
this
put
is
up
the
points.
SEC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously LSU, one of those teams, is kind of still a really big question mark.
They're going to bring the card out for Fluff Bothwell. And you can see the disappointment in his face. An SEC opportunity unfolded in front of him, and he was taking full advantage. And now an injury sidetracks everything.
He's changed the dynamic of that room in that offense, really and truly, giving them so much more explosive capability. He's been a joy to watch this year.
Just a true sophomore, so a ton of really good football still ahead of him, but you never like to see a promising young talent getting carted off the field here late in the game.
Coming off the injury timeout, 2nd and 16. Chapin taken down just as the game started. Another sack. Cassius Howell, pardon me, he had the sack trick against Utah State earlier this season. 3 consecutive sacks in the same drive, but only 1 since then until he turned it up tonight.
That specific series you mentioned against Utah State, Tom, it was masterful the way he had set those up earlier in the game and then knew where he had that offensive tackle, took full advantage of it.
Played for the legendary Kelly Donahoe at Rockhurst in Kansas City. Chapin delivers to the sideline, incomplete. 4th and 23. And State will punt it away with Ethan Polian.
A disappointing result for Jeff Lebby and this team that felt like they were poised to not just take the next step, but take a massive step this year. Obviously the setback in overtime against Tennessee, but I think they came into this game really confident that they could come out of here with a W, and for a while it really looked like they could, and A&M just played night and day different in this second half.
So Marcel Reed hit the snooze button a couple times in the first half, but then They've got it going, and this might be the throw that got him on track and built the confidence.
Yeah, up until this point, he was hesitating. He was double clutching throws, and then all of a sudden it clicked, and the ball was come out on time. And then he started getting his legs involved. I loved how Colin Klein started to use him as a weapon down in the red zone, use the athleticism. And you just couldn't have two different halves for Marcel Reed. That's what you're going to get when you got a young quarterback that's still developing. Going to have high highs and low lows, but can the trajectory continue to go upward? And it sure seems like it is for Marcel.
Here's Morrow up the middle. 17-point fourth quarter has allowed many of the Aggies to head to the chicken or anywhere on Southgate.
Well, this was as rowdy of an environment as I can remember. We come here quite a lot.
Yeah.
At least once a year, usually a couple times a year. This was as loud a couple times as I remember it ever being in here.
I think the blackout fired him up, and it's as with a school of such great traditions. Sometimes it's hard to do something like this from an administration standpoint, to sell people on the idea of wearing black head to toe. The Yell leaders put out a hype video in black head to toe, and I would bet that there were some old school Aggies who flinched at that idea. But this is the 5th largest crowd in school history, over 108,000.
Wow, wild.
This is the 2-minute timeout.
We've reached the 2-minute timeout. Back to Kyle Field in a moment.
The College Football Playoff begins December 19th and concludes with the National Championship January 19th on ESPN.
3rd and 7 for Texas A&M coming out of the 2-minute timeout. Marion Morrow is the running back with Marcel Reed. And they try to stretch it with Mario Craver. Looking for a blocker, and he steps through would-be tacklers and slides into second with a first down run.
Hey, Tom, you were talking about some of those traditions a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Talked to Trevor Alberts, obviously the AD, about it before, and he said, you know, we kind of got to move into the 21st century. But also, I hung out with Honey and Big Kirkpatrick today. Big Kirkpatrick played from 67 to 70 here at Texas A&M. You had some of Honey's brownies today. Both of you guys did, so you can talk about how good those were. They were incredible.
Really good.
I asked him about the blackout, figuring he would go super old school and say, nope, hate it. He said, I absolutely love it. I think it's super cool. I'd like to see him do it more often.
Well, we're talking with Mike Elko just about coaching here. And he obviously was here as a defensive coordinator under Jimbo. And he said, the spotlight's bright. There's a lot of attention. He's like, first thing we do, you show up at campus and put the uniform on, cancel your TexAg subscription. Stop listening to the outside noise. Only listen to what's happening inside the building, because it can be overwhelming. Saban would call it rat poison. And there's this fear of failure with this fan base because they haven't won a conference title since the late 90s. They haven't won that national championship in generations. Is this program right now good enough to win a national title?
Absolutely. Maybe not right this second, because again, we haven't seen 4 quarters of consistency on both sides of the ball, but they absolutely have flashes of being elite on both sides, and we saw them put it together here in the second half. I think Mike Elko is building a team with a DNA, as you mentioned, that isn't listening to the outside noise, that is confident that it's not going to be a repeat of history, that they can take the next step.
Consider this. They've held the last 2 opponents to 1 of 23 on 3rd down.
That's elite.
The state coaching staff was joking. They said, it doesn't matter how good or how terrible you are on 1st and 2nd down. If you're elite on 3rd down, nothing you can do. They played through the first half mistakes, and they got the offense out of the mud in the second half. Let's get you down the field. Coles with Coach Elko.
Coach, championship programs don't come out and play one brand of football for 4 quarters and win. You got to find different ways, make adjustments. Really felt like your team found a way to do that tonight.
Yeah, for sure. You know, obviously we struggled in the offense on first half. Defense stood up, made a whole bunch of plays. I think we got in a much better rhythm, figured some things out in the offense in the second half, went out and put the game away and played an SEC game the way you would want to.
It almost felt like Marcel had a play or a series of drives, a conversation that just the light came on and he got a lot more comfortable. Was there anything that you saw specifically for him?
No, I just think we found some things that he's very comfortable with. Tried to get him, got a little bit out of rhythm in the first half. We got him settled down, and when he settles down, he's a really good player.
I was telling some folks on the sideline, you're a little more intense than I knew because I only knew you as a coordinator before. How much easier does your life become with your defensive front and what they're capable of doing?
Yeah, I mean, they're playing really well. Obviously, we've had some guys have to step up. We lost some really talented players last year, but we got a lot of confidence in that group. And the last 2 weeks, they've really played really good football.
You've given up 1 third down in 2 weeks, Coach.
Yeah, don't jinx it.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Mike Elko, the smile at the end, he pointed out to us yesterday, this program has been on the upswing since we got here. That upswing certainly continues for a perfectionist who's going to go back and find a lot of mistakes in this film. But in the end, a win for A&M, and they stay undefeated. Let's get to the studio. Here's Peter.